Implementing more traditional gender roles and being the sole provider of my family has been absolutely great for both me and my wife. And I want to talk about my experience with that. I think a lot of people sort of believe, at least in the modern day, that there's something wrong with, a woman staying home and a man working. I think they have visions of the man controlling all of the money and, the woman being helpless. And while I'm sure that probably existed somewhere or may even still exist, that is not my reality. And I want to talk about how that experience has been very fruitful for me and my wife. So first, on the point of being, having one party be helpless, the stay-at-home person be helpless. If you are open and honest about finances, uh, that can be mitigated pretty quickly. For example, my wife has access to every account I have access to. There's no version of this where I can like just run away with the money. I guess I could, but again, that's the truth of any marriage. If you are sharing a life together, one person could step out on you at any point. But my point is, I don't have the ability, and even if I do, I'm not using it to hoard money away and make it so that she can't do things on her own. She has all the same access I have. I have all the same access she has. We've always practiced that, even when she was working. So that, do away with that. Now, the other part is, why has it been fruitful for us? Well, it just plays to what we're naturally more good at. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I think in society we have been fighting our natural instincts for a really long time. I've talked about this before, we've made men docile. We've made women harsher and stronger because the men aren't leading. So, of course, we have a lot of what men call masculine women, which are just women who have to be strong because they're taking care of everything, and a lot of piss poor weak men who have stepped out on their responsibilities, who are afraid of conflict, who are afraid of failure, afraid of pain, and they don't produce. So what I have realized is that I was pretty much a little bitch back in the day, and my wife was doing a lot more than she should have. And being here and seeing my wife quit her job and be at home in the home has made me much more cognizant of the fact that the responsibility to provide for this house is solely on my shoulders. And I love that. I love that because it has made me step up in a way that I maybe didn't realize I needed to, but very quickly reacted to once we got here. Like when things need to get done, like physical things in the house need to get done, which in our house, this house having a number of issues we had to fix off the bat, which was a lot. I am happy to be the person to say, wife, honey, bring that to me. I will figure out a way to do it. Now, even if I don't know how to do it, I will consult with my dad or brother, somebody who I know who can help me fix it, and I will take care of it. So when my wife sees something broken, right, we have lanes for each other, right? Like her lane is managing the household. My lane is bringing things home, like going out there, conquering the world, killing whatever I find, bringing it home so we can eat. That's the lanes, right? So if something goes wrong with the house, something mechanical, structural, whatever, she says, honey, this ain't working. This right here, somebody will look at it, fix it, whatever. I say, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And I don't even have to tell her, honestly. Like, my wife, she cooks, she cleans, she does laundry, dishes. I haven't had to even think about those things. And in turn, she doesn't have to think about, if she doesn't want to, the money or the outside or fixing things or how money's going to come in here. Now, is she a willing participant in money? Of course, because her and I are just like that when it comes to money. We like talking money because it keeps everybody involved. But I believe that my wife knows, and she wouldn't have moved here if she didn't know. My wife knows and believes that when it comes to money, I am going to make sure that we eat. I'm not going to let us starve. It's not going to happen. I don't have the choice to fail. It's not going to happen. And in turn, what that has done is it allows her to let go. A lot of y'all complain about how the women y'all are with aren't feminine. It's because they don't trust you with the responsibility. That's the truth. If might not want to hear it, but that's the truth. The reason they're not letting go and letting you lead is because they aren't convinced that you are a leader. They aren't convinced that you're capable. And that comes from you. And I've had to realize that about myself. The way that I was able to get my wife to let go was not by telling her and complaining to her and bitching to say, oh, hey, can you just let me handle this, please? No, I'm not doing that. I am stepping up and doing. So then she, you know what happened when I started doing that? She just naturally moved the hell out the way. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm being as honest with you as I can. For those of you who value traditional shit and you're like, why won't the women let the men lead anymore? It's because a lot of y'all are sorry. It's true. It's a lot of, and I'm talking as a previously sorry man, someone who's still working on myself so that I'm not sorry. But what I realized, just my own personal life, is when I made room for my wife to let go of that shit, and she realized, oh, if I let it go, it's not just going to drop on the floor and break, right? Like, my husband actually has this. I don't have to just be on his shoulder, on his shit all the time because he's not a lazy fuck. I can actually let it go. When I showed her that, she immediately just started worrying about other things. She let all that shit go. And now what happens is when I tell her, hey, don't worry about this thing, I'll take care of it, she says, okay. And then she just turns around and does something else, like legitimately. And when that happens and I say, all right, well, now it's time for you to be involved, she says, okay, what's the plan? And I don't want you to confuse it. That happens the other way around too with things that are her lane. So, like, I do not organize the house. That's not my lane. I'm not worried about how we should do things unless she asks my opinion, right? I'm not doing that. If she says I want a certain layout so that I can more efficiently take care of the house, I say, what do you want me to do? We'll make it happen. That's it. We are in separate lanes and we are thriving in those lanes because we've leaned into them. We are not fighting our natural instincts. And unfortunately in today's world, you are taught and programmed a bit to fight your natural instincts. And that's why I think a lot of our relationships and our money and our lives are fucked up. We got a lot of people trying to do it all. And I think what we realize is that the lie we were sold is that, everybody needs to have a job. Everybody needs to be a leader. Everyone can be a leader. Some people are just really good number twos. Like, my wife is an organizational, structural nut. Like, she is the best, operational person that I know, right? But she does not want to be bogged down with the large decisions because she wants to overanalyze all those things. So it's easier for her, and we have a good example of this. We did this with insurance. She grabbed all the information about insurance she could, and then she brought it to me and was like, what do you think about this? Immediately, I picked I sorted that shit and was like, nope. Between this one, and this one. We're picking between those. I handle much larger decisions better, and she goes through the minutia a lot better. But we didn't get to this point until we realized, hey, we have strengths and weaknesses that we just need to allow ourselves to lean into. So I wanted to talk about that because life's been so much better since I have become and leaned into my role as, one, the leader of this house, the person who's going to bring home the bacon so we can eat, and allowed my wife to take some pressure off and allow her to be the person that she is, the person that she naturally wants to be. And that has been so unbelievably beneficial to me and my family. And I think it'd be beneficial to a lot of people. But it requires you to have some leader in you to, if you're the man, to let go of the bitch. Speaking as a former bitch, I just want to say to the men who value tradition, realize that tradition just doesn't mean you are the leader and people follow you. You need to give them a reason to follow you. You need to give them a reason to believe that you're worth following. Do not confuse your role as a leader for a tyrant. You are not just someone who barks commands and gets what you want and then sits on the couch and provides, $40,000 a year. You're not a fucking leader. You're a worker pretending to be a leader. A leader leads by example. They show their family, you can depend on me. And that's not a salary, that's a lifestyle. That's an attitude. So if you want to be that, do it. But realize there is a price, and that burden, that crown is heavy. So don't mistake your role for this life of leisure. You are the leader because at the end of the day, responsibility falls to you for everyone in that house. And what I have learned from me is that has been a great dynamic for me and my family, because it has built a level of trust and really a sense of peace in my house that I don't think a lot of people have. So just wanted to give my 2 cents. I'm sure some of those people who believe in a more liberal setup might not agree with that, but that's okay. I'm not suggesting everyone live the life I'm living. I'm suggesting that you lead into the life that's best for you. And if you are someone who has lived a more liberal life for a long time, maybe you're fighting your natural instincts. Just something to consider, because that was the case for me. I'll talk to y'all later.